They buried it. They prayed. They never spoke its name again. But one night, the goat came back. On 2 legs. In the village of Obu-Agu, life was quiet. Goats bleated, children played with stones, and old women roasted yam under the sun. But one man, Papa Chika, was tired of being poor. He had no farm, no wife, and no strength left to beg. One morning, he said to himself, "Let me buy a goat. I'll fatten it and sell the meat. Maybe that will change my story." So he took his last money, 2,000 naira, and went to the village road where traders passed. That day, a strange man came by. He wore a red hat, his slippers made no sound, and his voice was like wind blowing inside a bottle. He said, "Buy this goat, Papa Chika. It doesn't eat much, but it brings fortune." Papa Chika looked at the goat. It didn't move. It didn't blink. And then he noticed something. The goat's eyes were golden. Not yellow like fever, not brown like soil, golden like real treasure. They shined in the sun. Then, Papa Chika stepped back. But the man smiled. Only 2,000. Something told him to walk away. But hunger said, "Buy it." So he gave the man the money. The man disappeared into the bush. No goodbye. No thank you. Papa Chika dragged the goat home. It didn't fight. It didn't make a sound. Just stared. His neighbor, Mama Nkechi, peeked through the fence and shouted, "Papa Chika, this your goat get ? He smiled. "No worry. When I kill you go taste first." He tied the goat to a tree and went inside. But even from the window, he could feel it watching him. The next morning, Papa Chika sharpened his knife. He was not a butcher, but hunger makes any man brave. The goat stood quietly, still staring with its golden eyes. "Today you become pepper soup," Papa Chika said. He led it behind the compound. No crying. No struggle. One clean cut. It was done. He roasted part of the meat, dried the rest, and called neighbors to come and eat. Even Mama Nkechi came with fufu. This goat sweet well, she said, licking her fingers. By evening, the bones were gone. Papa Chika sat back, belly full, smiling for the first time in weeks. "Tomorrow I go sell the remaining meat," he said to himself. Then he slept. But by morning, the whole village heard shouting, "Papa Chika, come outside." He rushed out in his wrapper. And there it was. The goat. Standing. Alive. At his gate. Same rope around its neck. Same golden eyes. Same quiet face. But this time, its fur was still burnt at the edges. People screamed, "Is this juju?" Mama Nkechi fainted. Children cried. Someone shouted, "No be ordinary goat be this." Papa Chika's mouth was open. He couldn't move. The meat he ate last night rolled in his stomach. The goat walked past him, slowly, and sat in the exact same spot it was tied yesterday. And it blinked. For the first time. By afternoon, Papa Chika had recovered enough to speak. Maybe it's not the same goat. He tried to laugh, but his laugh sounded like a cough wrapped in fear. The neighbors didn't buy it. Mama Nkechi said, "You think we no get eyes? This goat chop slap for my grandson yesterday. See the mark still there." The mark was there. The same scratch behind the ear. The same scar on its front leg. It was the same goat. So Papa Chika did what every man in fear does, he blamed the knife. The blade was old. It didn't cut properly, he said. He took the goat to the village butcher, Motsi Okafor, a man known to kill cows with one swing. "This goat they do like winch," Papa Chika whispered. The butcher laughed. You think I never killed just goat before? He sharpened his blade in front of the crowd. Everybody come watch oh. Make una serial slaughter. He raised the blade. One clean swing. The goat's head rolled. Silence. Then cheers. You see now. Ordinary goat. They roasted it on open fire. Sold the meat across the village. The head was thrown far into the bush. And for the first time in days, people slept well. Until morning. The butcher opened his shop. And there it was. The goat. Sitting on his table. Licking pepper from its golden lips. By now, the goat had become famous. People from nearby villages came to Obu-Agu to see it. Some took photos. Some threw salt. One pastor came with bell and Bible, but the goat didn't move. It just sat quietly, chewing cassava. The butcher, Motsi Okafor, locked his shop and swore never to kill again. How can meat turn back to goat? He shouted. I roast am. I serve am. Now they lick my bench. Papa Chika cried. Not because of fear, but because he had wasted pepper. Or this goat has eaten half my soup and all my peas. So the village elders called a meeting. They gathered at the community square. Everyone came, even goats from normal homes were kept indoors that day. The golden-eyed goat sat quietly at the center, tied to a stake. Chief Izemba cleared his throat. What we are facing is not ordinary, he said. This goat has embarrassed butchers. It has cheated fire. It has disrespected stew. The villagers murmured in agreement. We must act before it joins our PTA meeting, someone said. They brought in a herbalist. This is not a goat, he whispered. It is a messenger from something older than this village. Everyone gasped. The rope snapped. No one touched it. The goat stood, looked around slowly, and walked to the center of the circle. Then it sat down. Again. Chief Izemba had seen enough. Carry this goat to Mboko market and sell it, he said. Let it disturb their peace for once. So early the next day, they put the goat in a wheelbarrow, tied tight, and pushed it all the way to the next village. The buyer was a man with one eye and 3 wives. He paid 3,500 Nigerian nairas, no bargaining. I like the way it looks, he said. Very bold. The goat didn't blink. Back in Obu-Agu, everyone breathed easier. For 2 whole days, there was no sign of it. Papa Chika even danced more. The butcher reopened his shop, briefly. But on the 3rd day, things changed. Children playing near the village gate stopped and screamed. Goat. There it was. The same goat. Same golden eyes. Same rope marks. But now, it had something new. Beads around its neck. Red beads. And small cowries tied to its legs. Someone shouted. Huh! It went to market and came back rich. Mama Nkechi threw her slippers. This goat no dey fear transport money. The goat walked straight to Papa Chika's door. And sat. Again. That evening, the village agreed. Enough is enough. This goat must not survive tonight. So they chose 5 brave men. Strong men. Hunters. Wrestlers. Even one man who claimed to have slapped a lion in 1999. They gave them sticks, ropes, pepper, and holy water, the type Mama Nkechi makes in Coca-Cola bottle. Their job? Stay awake. Watch the goat. Don't sleep. They tied the goat to a tree in the center of the village and surrounded it with firewood. Then they sat in a circle. They waited. They stared. The goat didn't move. Didn't blink. Midnight. One man yawned. The second one rubbed his eyes. By 1:37 a.m., someone was snoring. By 2:05 a.m., all 5 men were deep in dreamland. And the goat? Gone. By morning, the men woke up on the ground. Their pepper was missing. The rope was still tied, but the goat had vanished. But that's not all. It was found later, at the shrine. Sleeping. On top of the sacred stool. Wearing another set of beads. This time, blue. Someone said, "This goat is joining secret society." Even the chief refused to speak. That night, Papa Chika locked his door, shut all his windows, and tied broomsticks to the corners of his room, just like his grandmother taught him. "Anything that climbs tonight will meet thunder," he said. He didn't even cook. He just lay down and tried to forget the goat. But as soon as he closed his eyes, he started to dream. He was standing in a foggy forest. Everything was silent. Except for one sound. Tap. 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 He turned. And there it was. The goat. But not just any goat. It was tall, too tall. Standing on 2 legs. Wearing a red wrapper and holding a staff. Its golden eyes glowed like fireflies. And then it spoke. Not loud. Not fast. But slow. Deep. Echoing.
"You killed what cannot die."
Papa Chika froze. "You roasted what walks through fire." He fell to his knees. "What do you want from me?" he cried. The goat raised its staff. The sky cracked. "You fed on spirit. Now your soul is mine." Papa Chika woke up screaming. His wrapper was soaked. The window was open. And on the table beside his bed was a single goat hoof. Still warm. After the dream, Papa Chika didn't speak for 2 days. He just stared into space and muttered, "Goat were wrapper, goat talk." Mama Nkechi sprinkled Audrey near his doorstep, just in case. On the 3rd day, Elder Obu-Agu came to visit. He was the oldest man in Obu-Agu. No one knew how old exactly. Some said he was born before sound. He sat beside Papa Chika and said, "I've seen those eyes before." He opened a dusty box and brought out an old photo. Black and white. Faded at the corners. It showed a group of men. Hunters. And right there, in the background, a goat. Golden eyes. Same scar. Same face. "That goat came here over 50 years ago," Elder Obu-Agu whispered. "It was owned by a herbalist. But one night, it vanished, and so did the man." The elders tried to burn the picture. The fire refused to catch. They buried it instead. That night, lightning struck the spot. In the morning, the goat was standing there, wearing a leaf hat. The whole village agreed. "Tonight, we end this." The chief summoned 3 powerful men. A hunter who shot lions with his eyes closed. A pastor who shouted in tongues even in his sleep. And Mama Ejaim, the herbalist who once slapped a masquerade. They tied the goat in the center of the village, surrounded it with candles, chalk, salt, Audrey, onion, garlic, and one very angry chicken. Papa Chika stood at the back, holding a Bible and a bottle of palm oil, just in case. The hunter raised his gun. The pastor raised his Bible. Mama Ejaim raised the calabash and said, "This is your last warning, goat." The goat blinked. Once. Twice. And then, the candles went out. The sky turned dark, not night, but pitch. The wind stopped. Even the chicken fainted. The firewood refused to burn. The rope untied by itself. And the goat stood up on 2 legs. It looked at them, slowly. Then walked into the bush. Silently. Calmly. Without a single sound. Nobody followed. The next morning. Footprints. Hoof prints. But backward. And written in ash on the ground were 5 words. I will come back soon. 10 years passed. People stopped talking about the goat. New babies were born. Papa Chika moved to his cousin's house in another village. Life went back to normal. Or so they thought. One sunny afternoon, a small boy named Nana was playing by the riverbank. He heard a soft bleat behind him. He turned. A baby goat stood there. Small. Brown. Harmless. But its eyes were gold. Nana smiled. Goatie. Come, let me take you home. He picked it up. It didn't resist. That evening, he tied it beside his family's hut. That night, as his parents slept, a picture fell from the wall. A picture of Papa Chika, now much older, smiling beside a small clay pot. It fell face down. The wind didn't blow. Nothing shook. But outside the window, the goat was standing. On its hind legs. Watching. Chewing. Waiting. The next morning, Nana's mother screamed first. His father was already outside, kneeling. His hands trembled. Because in the center of the compound was the family goat. Still chewing. But beside it, on the ground, lay the village night guard, Uche, cold and still. Eyes open. One hand stretched toward the gate. A goat hoof print on his chest. And written on the wall beside them, in palm oil, were 4 words. Chika is my name. The villagers gathered quickly. Mama Nkechi fainted. Again. Someone poured odri on her head. She woke up shouting. The chief sent for Mama Ejaim. She arrived in silence. No wrapper. No staff. Just a single red bead tied around her wrist. She looked at the hoof print on Uche's chest. She looked at the words on the wall. Chika is my name. And she whispered. He warned us. We laughed. She turned to Nana. Where did you find the goat? Nana's voice shook. By the river, it just looked at me. Like it was waiting. Mama Ejaim nodded slowly. Then turned to the villagers. This goat is not a goat. It is a memory. A punishment. A story that never ends. And it has chosen again. By evening, the village elders gathered again. They didn't sit. They didn't argue. They just stood. Looking at the goat. Still tied. Still chewing. Chief Izemba spoke quietly. We will bury Uche. But what do we do with that? No one answered. The goat blinked. Then it smiled. Mama Ejaim stepped forward. There's one thing left. She asked for a grave. Not for Uche. For the goat. We bury it while it lives, she said. Gasps. Nana ran to her. It didn't hurt me. I fed it cassava. She knelt before him, eyes soft. Child, some things feed on kindness, so they can return when it hurts more. They dug the grave. Deep. Under the iroko tree. The goat didn't struggle. Didn't cry. As they lowered it into the earth, it washed. It chewed slowly. It blinked once. And then, just before the final shovel of death, it spoke. Chika remembers. The dirt didn't settle. The villagers didn't sleep that night. Even after the goat was buried, even after the chanting. The air felt wrong. At midnight, it started to rain. But the rain didn't fall down. It fell up, soft droplets rising from the earth into the sky. And then, a scream. From the house nearest to the iroko tree. The widow, Mama Ifioma, ran outside. Her face was wet with tears and blood. Inside, her son, Chinidu, lay cold on the floor. his chest wide open. A hoof print again. And beside him, a small pile of red beads. The elders came in silence. Chief Izemba looked at Mama Ejaim. We buried it. She stared at the beads. Then at the sky. No, she whispered. We planted it. Dike didn't run. He didn't scream. He did what no one had done since the beginning. He bowed. What do you want? He asked. The goat didn't answer. But the pot cracked again. And from inside it, something slithered. Smoke. Black. Thick. Shaped like a man. But with a goat's head. The villagers saw it from their homes. They did not come out. Dike raised his machete. But his hands would not move. He was stuck. Frozen. As the smoky creature walked past him, toward the tree where the goat had been buried. Then it vanished into the earth. And so did the goat. The pot fell to the ground. Empty. The next morning, a single word was carved into the iroko tree. Again. And the wind carried one voice, soft, patient, old.